You may now sit down. I will check your attendance now. So, are you on your proper seats? Okay, congratulations. All of you are present today. So, how's your day? Okay, very good. So, class, did you make the assignment that I gave to you? Please pass your assignments to the middle rows. Okay, and then forward. Thank you. So, last meeting, we tackled about the different classifications of verbs. Can any one of you enumerate the classifications of verbs? Yes, Miss Godino. Okay, very good. Now, what is a transitive verb? Yes, Mr. Perez. Very well said. How about intransitive verb? Let me hear your answer. Mr. Hernandez. Okay, very good. How about the last one, the linking verb? Yes, Miss Cecilia. Okay, great. Do you have any questions about our previous topic? Okay, if there's none, let us proceed to our next topic, which is the basic sentence pattern. But before that, let us have an activity first. Are you ready, grade 8? Okay. Now, I want everyone to find a partner. Does everyone have a partner now? Okay. So, this game is called sentence repair. Here's the mechanics. I have here some flashcards consist of different words. So, each pair will choose a set and the first person will arrange the sentence and his or her partner will identify the subject of the repaired sentence. Are my instructions clear? Okay, let us now start. Are you ready? Mr. Consigo and Ms. Castillo, please come here in front. Okay, next pair please. Thank you very much. Did you enjoy the game? That's good. So, what have you noticed on our activity? Okay, so the activity that we did earlier is related to our topic for today. Again, what is our topic for today? Very good. So, before we begin our discussion, let me introduce to you first the objectives of our lesson for today. So, everyone, kindly read the following objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students are able to. Thank you very much. So, a sentence has two basic elements, the subject and the predicate. The subject is always a noun, a pronoun, or a group of words acting as a noun. It is what the entire sentence is about. Meanwhile, the predicate contains a verb that describes the subject. Take note, class, that verbs do not always have to be action verbs. Lastly, subjects and predicates can be either simple or compound. Did you understand? Okay. A sentence is a group of words that usually contain a subject and a verb and expresses a complete idea. So, the subject is a noun, noun phrases, or pronoun that usually comes before the main verb. It also represents the person or thing that acts as a verb, or which about something is stated. So, verb on the other hand is a word or group of words that describes an action or state. So, again, the classifications of verbs are intransitive verb, which does not require an object, and transitive verb, which requires an object. So, here are the examples. Okay, so grandpa is awake. So, grandpa here is the subject, which is a noun and is the sentence talking about. And is awake, it is the predicate, which is a verb that describes the bought a flower. He bought what? A flower. And the flower is our direct object. While an indirect object usually refers to the person who benefits from the action of the verb. So, here's the example. He bought her a flower. He bought a flower for whom? For her. Her here is the indirect object who receives the direct object. Are we still clear? Okay. Additionally, we have the complement. A complement tells us something about the nature of the subject or object. So there are two types of complements. First is the subject complement. It is a word or phrase that follows a linking verb and describes the subject. Then the object complement is a word that follows a direct object to rename or state what it has become. So here are the examples. So first is she is happy. Happy here is our subject complement. It follows the linking verb is to tell us about the subject she. So another example is he made her happy. Her here is our direct object, and the word that comes after the direct object is happy, which is our object complement. And lastly, we have a modifier. A modifier is a word or group of words that modifies another word or group. Do you all understand? Thank you very much. Let us now have the main topic of our discussion, which is the 5 basic sentence pattern. So the first one will be subject plus linking verb plus complement, or what we so call the SLVC pattern. So the subject is the one being talked about in the sentence. The linking verb is the subject to its complement, and the complement either describes or renames the subject. So here's an example. I am a teacher. I here is the subject, is the linking verb, and teacher here is the complement. So here's another example. John looks great. John here is our subject, looks is our linking verb, and great is our complement. Do you understand? Okay. So the second pattern will be the subject plus intransitive verb pattern. So again, intransitive verb does not require an object. Here's an example. constructing a sentence. So you will write your sentence here on the board and underline the word that corresponds to each pattern.